Hey everyone. So today we're going to be looking at ethical issues in relation to genetic technology. So obviously, as technology in relation to genetics advances, that has the potential to raise some issues in relation to ethics. So what we mean by an ethical issue is those are considerations about whether an action is right or wrong. Okay. So different people have different values in relation to whether something is right or wrong. Okay, so for example, a common ethical issue in relation to genetics is the idea that if everyone's DNA is on file, would that be a useful thing for society? And some people might say, yes, I think that would be useful. That means that, it'd be very easy to get data from crime scenes, find out who criminals are, be easy for tracing families and things like that. But on the other hand, some people think that's an invasion of privacy as well. So neither of those is necessarily the correct answer. They're just two different opinions about something that is quite difficult and that people will disagree on. Okay, so ethical issues are to do with whether things are right or wrong. And then linking into society, so societal issues are considerations about the trends of what people in general think in society and any different situations and conflicts that may arise. So ethical issues and social issues are closely interlinked. Societal trends and ethical issues inform what we refer to as our moral frameworks. So what is considered moral or amoral will vary in societies across location and across time as people's individual ethical issues change, and that affects the general society's moral opinions over time. So, in relation to genetics, I want you to just consider an example. Consider that everyone's DNA has been cloned and their genome is kept on file so we can check everyone's genetics. And maybe that's done for a medical purpose to check if people may have a genetic issue later in life that they can plan for. But regardless of if it's done for a medical purpose, it still raises ethical questions that must be considered. So one of them is autonomy. So autonomy is about people's right to self-determine and things like that. So in this situation, could people reject that or opt out of it? Could they be allowed to do that? Would that be beneficial or not beneficial? Also is confidentiality. So will people be allowed to choose if they can disclose or not disclose genetic info to employers? I'm sure you can imagine if everyone's DNA is on file, there could be a situation where employers demand to see it, and that could potentially affect people's employment if they have a genetic issue that could affect them. So that's a difficult situation to consider. There's also issues of privacy. So who will have access to that data? Again, if that gets to people like health insurance companies, could that affect how people are treated from them? Discrimination, so linking in with that, can that data be used to discriminate against people? If we know people's genetic makeups, will people who have a certain trait be discriminated against? And then there's equity. So if all individuals will be able to access that data. So both sides of the argument for each of those must be considered. And that's just an example of the considerations that must be thought about when thinking about the ethics of changes in biotechnology. Okay, so that's just a quick little overview of that. Please make sure you watch my video on genetically modified organisms and transgenic organisms as well. And yeah, we are nearly done with this topic.